Well, welcome back. You're going to really enjoy this lesson. My name is Ted Thomas. I've been involved in real estate for the past 30 years, but I'm in a subset of real estate called tax liens and tax deeds. Now, the regular traditional real estate is considered homes, residential lots. Sometimes people consider small farms and small office buildings residential real estate, but that's mostly homes. So small business, there's always a handful of challenges to handle, which is probably a good thing. Otherwise, we'd have too many competitors. So problem solving is a big part of being in business. All right, now the life of an entrepreneur is solving problems continuously. Now, if you get good at solving problems, you're going to be able to make lots of money as an entrepreneur. If you don't solve problems, you're going to spend an awful lot of money that you shouldn't have spent. So let's get good at being a problem solver and helping other people. Now, if you're going to be your own boss, you're going to handle challenges. What kind of challenges? Well, challenges of buying, challenges of selling, challenges of collecting money, challenges of selling things. Think about that. So determine if you really do want to be an entrepreneur and you really don't want to work for somebody else. Now, working for someone else, they cover an awful lot of things. And when you're an entrepreneur, you're going to have to cover all the problems. So I've been an entrepreneur for about 30 years, a little over that now, and I found out I can do most of that at home. But most of the things I've seen have been some pretty healthy business transactions. But there's going to be a few that could cause you problems. So you need to study a little bit and learn so that you don't make the big mistakes. Now, the problem solvers turn out to be the best entrepreneurs. I'll be right back and show you a bundle of ways to make money. What am I talking about today? Today I'm answering your question, can you really make money online from home? Now, 30 years ago, I discovered a little known but very profitable business. Now, the business was a subset of the traditional real estate business. Now, people see real estate as single-family homes, lots that they could build on, single-family buildable lots. They see it as small farms. They see it as small office buildings, but it's mostly homes. All right, that business has been around for decades. It will continue for decades, but there's a part of the business that's a subset that most people don't know about. It's called tax liens and tax deeds. Now, what is that business? It's very simple. It's people that didn't pay their taxes, and when they didn't pay the tax, the state legislature has passed rules. And they pass the rule down to the county commissioners or the board of supervisors, who then instruct the treasurer to levy the tax, collect the property tax, and if they can't collect it, the treasurer is going to seize. They're going to confiscate the property and resell it at auction. That's a whole business that's been going on in 3,000 counties for well over 200 years. Now, this subset leaves a big gap between the regular business and the tax lien and deed business. Now, tax liens and tax deeds, this subset, you're buying properties. Some of them are slightly used and abused. Some of them are junk. Some of them are ready to move into. But I'll tell you this, there's going to be plenty of them. So first of all, don't buy any junk. These auctions are taking place in 3,000 different counties. They're run by the treasurer. They're administered by the treasurer. And you can buy as many as you want. Now, small counties with small populations, well, there'll be dozens that they're going to sell. Large population counties will have hundreds, in some cases thousands. All right. Now, very few people will get involved in this subset of real estate because they don't have a broker to help them. They don't have a title company. They don't have an attorney. This is an entrepreneur's paradise. In other words, entrepreneurial people can do this because they're willing to solve problems and they can handle challenges. I'm going to describe some step-by-step process over the next few minutes. So 30 years ago, you couldn't do anything online. Today, you can do as much online as you can do offline. So you can perform both. If you want to do it physically, you can do that. Yeah, but you can also buy and resell online, and you can do this from a home office on nothing more than a laptop computer. Now, briefly, I'm going to discuss a government-controlled and mandated program. It's effective nationwide. In other words, in every county, they're going to have tax defaulted properties to sell. Now, what does that look like? Well, the United States, first of all, each state has a legislature. Each legislature has passed a rule that if the property owner doesn't pay the property tax, then the local county, the treasurer, under the supervision of the supervisors and county commissioner, will go to the property owner, put the property in default, And once they've levied the tax, they try to collect the tax. If they can't collect it, they're going to seize the property and move the people out. In other words, they're going to evict them from the property, and then they're going to sell that property at auction for the back taxes starting bid. Those auctions will be announced on the county website, and they'll also be in the newspaper. How many will there be? Well, in the United States, there's over 100 million properties. 1.5% to 2.5% of those properties every year will end up at a tax defaulted auction of some kind. All right, so these properties are all taxed at the county level. So that means there's going to be at least 3,000 auctions, but some counties will have multiple auctions, so there'll be more like 5,000 auctions this year. All right, now I didn't make the rules. The state legislature makes the rules. So you can follow those rules. They'll all be listed on the county website. They'll also be in the law books, in the statutes, in the library. Fortunately, everybody doesn't know this. And so life happens, and guess what? This is going on in every single county. For example, why do people walk away from these properties? Well, number one, what if they pass on and they've died? Well, they're not going to pay taxes if they did, that's for sure. All right, what if couples had a divorce? Well, they get to having a fight, and guess what? Nobody pays the taxes. Or what if people move away and abandon the property? So there's lots of ways these properties end up in tax default. Well, they're only going to be in tax default for a short period of time, and then the treasurer will confiscate the property. Now, after they've seized that property, they just put it on the auction block to sell it. Now, they're going to sell those properties at least one auction every single year. And as I say, you can find that at the county website. Now, in all cases, they will give the property owner plenty of notice. These taxes must be paid. If they're not paid, well, the property is going to get lost to the county. All right, the county has the ability to adjust the pricing on that property. But generally speaking, they'll start out at the back taxes, 10 or 20 cents on the dollar. All this is supervised by the county commissioners, board of supervisors, and the state legislature. These properties are seized by the county and they're sold back to the public. Why are they sold back to the public? Because the county wants those properties on the honorable tax roll. They want to get them back paying taxes. These properties are in default, so they want to get them out of default situation, so they discount these properties. How much do they discount them? Well, I'm going to tell you, they're going to discount these properties 60%, 70%, 80% less than the market and the tax assessed value. So in other words, they're going to take that value and drop it way down so that they can sell it. Now, what I'm really talking about is you're going to get properties for starting bid very close to the back taxes, 10, 20 cents on the dollar, and guess what? The property is not going to have a mortgage. The treasurer is going to they're going to cancel the mortgage from the property, and they will also cancel a trust deed loan from the property. So now you're going to buy properties for 10, 20 cents on the dollar, and they won't have any mortgage. It doesn't get any better than that. You'll find those listed in the newspaper. All right, now this discounting process the county's taking their liberty to give you is to get rid of the property from the county records. They want to get rid of it from the default list, and they want to get it back on the honorable tax bill list. So you can buy these properties, and there's going to be literally hundreds of these properties in major counties with high population. All right, so as I said, the county just delivers these properties with no mortgage. It's been deleted. So in today's lesson, I'm really answering the question, can you make money online from your home? Definitely, because first of all, you can go to a physical auction if you want to, but you want to do it online. So you're going to go to a company like Bid for Assets and many other companies that have been built just to sell properties online. So you can look at the properties, you can research them, you can go and view them. You can't go inside them, but you can see these properties long before you decide to purchase. The truth is, there's going to be thousands of properties available at the counties. The auctions are open to the public. Investors from outside the United States like to buy. Everybody likes to buy these properties. So let me give you an example of that. I'll just take a minute or so. But I have a client that lives in Central America, and they're purchasing in the United States. All right, they can find all the information on the property on the county website, or if they're selling it online, which is what you want, they're sell online, you can find the same information online. So now you know all the details on the property. Well, in this case, the investor from outside the United States purchased a property in the rolling hills of California. It's going to have a tax assessed value. It was $210,000. The property was purchased online for 7 cents on the dollar. Now think about what I just said. It was a $200,000 property purchased for $14,000. That's about 7 cents on the dollar. So ask yourself, if you could buy for 7 cents on the dollar, could you sell it for 25 or 50 cents on the dollar and be happy on a $200,000 property? Well, of course you could. Those properties are available and they're sold online as well as sold offline. All right, so the assessor has figured out what the property's worth. You could certainly do a comparable market analysis. You could hire a broker to check it out. You could go there and check the property yourself to find out what the real value was. But if you can get it for 7 cents on the dollar, would that make a difference in your life? Matter of fact, ask this question to yourself. How many would you buy if you could get them for 7 cents on the dollar and the mortgage or deed of trust loan has been deleted? You'd buy as many as you actually could. All right, now I'm going to be out of time right now, but I want to tell you, if you want to buy one of these properties, you need to have boots on the ground. How are you going to do that? You can do it online. You'll have to hire someone there to go take a look and take pictures of the property, because I don't know what's going to happen to the property. It could have burned down. There could have been a windstorm. Could have had a flood. It might be next to a chicken barn. You want to find those things out before you invest. Do not invest your money if you haven't seen the property. Ladies, you know you wouldn't marry that guy without seeing him. Don't buy one of these properties without seeing. Second big thing to be careful of is you want to make sure that you've already established an exit strategy before you buy so that you don't bid too high. Know what you're going to sell it for before you buy. I'm Ted Thomas, and right below me is a free gift. Right below me is a free gift.